Welcome everyone back to the channel. I am Zach with the... Wait, something looks different. Feels like something's missing. I don't know. Something just seems a little off. I don't know. You tell me. But this is Zach with the Yo Bro Nation YouTube channel, and this is your classic review for WWF RAW back in 1999. August 30th of 1999, to be exact. Live from Boston, Massachusetts at the Old Fleet Center. Wow. So, yes, if you didn't notice, yes, I shaved my beard. It's for work purposes. I look weird. I look a little thinner in the face, though. I can say that much. But, yeah, Raw, August 30th, 1999, it was a kick-ass show. I'm going to say that off the top. If you haven't already caught on, I am doing classic reviews. All right, did SmackDown this past Friday. Thank you for everyone who went back and watched that. Hopefully those numbers grow as I go on. People probably a little confused at first, like, this doesn't look like what happened on SmackDown. This doesn't look like what happened on Raw. But this is me. This is what I'm going to do until everything's taken care of. This is what I'm going to do with the time that I'm given. So, pleasantries out of the way. You guys can go to other social media, follow us, like, share the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know, I'm not great at it. It's not my forte. So, but I just want to jump into this, man, because this was a fun show. This was a very fun show. Very Rock and Mankind heavy in this show. Triple H was on it a little bit, but it was very promo heavy and a very Rock Mankind heavy show. Still working on the background, by the way. Something to just do that. I need to block these lights because these are what's going to kill me. Is those? God, lights a pain in the ass. I'm getting it all fixed. I almost want to flip sides and shoot from this side. Honestly, I might actually do that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the review. I'm going to get me a drink of water. So, like I said on Friday, going down memory lane and rewatching these shows, they bring me back to my youth. They bring me back to much happier times when I had a blast. Shows were fun. I enjoyed, it felt like being a kid again. I felt like I was back watching this stuff and enjoying it. Makes me laugh and giggle, like openly laugh at certain parts, especially when Mick Foley, Mankind's talking about the dozens and all this. It makes me laugh. But, like even now, there are parts that aren't great. And there was parts about this that weren't particularly great, but I didn't mind because for the few small things that were wrong with the show, there was a lot more that was enjoyable. A lot more that I was just like, yeah, I'm cool with this. I like what we're doing here. So, Raw, though, did kick off with The Rock. The Rock kicked off Raw. Of course, if you guys watched my review for SmackDown last week, you would know that he challenged Triple H for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, and Shawn Michaels cost him the match. Rock kicks off Raw. Says he should have become the World Wrestling Federation champion, but because of a jabroni commissioner, it didn't happen. Says that he runs his mouth, takes a jab at him, calls him a jabroni and a Rudy poo. Mocks Shawn Michaels, there's a new sheriff in town. He says he'll take that sheriff's cowboy hat, put it on. He'll start spinning his little six shooter, and he starts doing the Rock mannerisms. Says he's going to turn that, take that six shooter, turn it sideways and stick it straight up his candy ass. That's what The Rock does. He has a fetish with things and putting it in asses. You get Rocky chants. He tells Triple H he realizes he put him up to it. Rock says he's given him 5 seconds. And The Rock means 5 seconds to come out or he will go back there and whip his monkey ass all over the Fleet Center. Crowd's chanting, Rock chants. Rock starts counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock goes backstage. Rock's walking backstage. He's counting, talking trash. He goes by the makeup. Ah, not here, not doing your pretty hair. Opens the ladies' room. Ah, well, you're not here. Rock knows you like the pee sitting down. And then Triple H out of nowhere hits The Rock with the title belt from around the corner. Then China comes in. They both start stomping on The Rock. Shane McMahon comes in. He holds him down, takes some shots. The refs come in, and then here comes Mankind. They have to pull him and Triple H apart. After all of this, then Shane McMahon comes out with the Mean Street Posse, Joey Abs, Rodney, and Pete Gas. They all come out. He says, everyone seems to be feeling a little frisky tonight. He says, Rock and Mankind seem like they want to play games. He says, well, fortunately for them, I'm in the mood to play them too. He says, they seem to think they deserve another shot at Triple H. He says, so therefore, he's going to grant them their wish. Both men tonight will face Triple H for the championship in this very ring. If, it's a big if they can beat their respective opponents. He says, Rock, I'll go to you first. He says, how would you say it? He says, make the Undertaker's monkey ass famous. He says, tonight you'll go one-on-one with the dead man. No holds barred, no disqualifications, falls count anywhere. And he has to pin the Undertaker's shoulders to the mat. Has to pin the Undertaker's shoulders somewhere in this building. Then he goes to Mankind, says he laid the smackdown on Mankind, pinned him 1, 2, 3 in the ring all by himself. Says, but something's been bothering him all week. He says he cowardly attacked the Mean Street Posse from behind. So he's not going to face 1, 2, or 3, but all 3 members of the Mean Street Posse in a special 3-on-1 handicap match. So he tells Foley this match starts right now. Mick Foley comes out. Teddy Long, who, you guys know is the SmackDown GM. Tag team match player, The Undertaker. Anyways, horrible impression. Dismisses him. He says, you're no longer needed. I'll be the special guest referee. He says, and Mankind, understand this. If you touch me, lay hands on me in any way, you will be disqualified and will not get your championship match. And as Foley's walking up towards him, the entire Main Street Posse attacks him, which leads directly into the match. Mankind against the Mean Street Posse in the 3-on-1 handicap match. All of the Mean Street Posse, they're all beating up Mick Foley. Shane makes Pete Gas go into the corner while this is happening. Foley's getting double teamed, but he counters off of an Irish whip into the ropes with a clothesline onto Rodney and Joey Abs. He throws them both in the corner and he's beating them up. King, he's talking about this is a handicap match because the Mean Street Posse, they're hurt. Pete Gas, he comes in, he gets thrown into the corner. He's wearing a neck brace. He gets his head rammed into the turnbuckle a few times, and then he gets clotheslined for his troubles. Foley does a running knee into the corner onto Rodney. Pete Gas, though, hits him while mixed by the ropes, punches him in the face, gets in the ring, hits him some more shots. Shane's pretending like he's trying to admonish everyone, and he's not seeing. They start bringing in some weapons. They get a double suplex. Mick's getting hit with trash cans. They grab a freaking street sign. Joey Abs swings. Foley ducks. It hits Rodney. I think Pete Gas comes in with a freaking snow shovel, gets hit with that. Shane, though, Mick goes to count him. Shane won't. This is after a double arm DDT, by the way. So Mick Foley applies the mandible claw on Shane McMahon. Triple H, though, comes out, so Mick stops, starts fighting with him. Bell rings. There's confusion. Mick Foley, though, is announced as the winner, but Shane McMahon's already walking up the ramp saying that he's disqualified. He's been disqualified. Lily announces. Shane goes back, says, no, he was disqualified, so he was announced Mick Foley not the winner and will not be receiving a championship opportunity. So that's a lot. That was the entire opening before the very first commercial even happened. This was probably about 20 minutes. The Rock's promo, Rock was always great on the promo. Like from the start. The first time they let that man go with a microphone, he's always been fantastic. Then Shane McMahon coming out to be the douche. The chicken shit heel. Oh, I did it all by myself. When we all know he never did. It was good though. The whole opening segment, the match was just set up for what's coming up later in the night. It was all good though. I enjoyed it. Good opening segment. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was double thumbs for me. Michael Cole interviews The Undertaker and The Big Show. He says Rock has finally ran his cake hole enough to piss someone off that he finally has to stand across from The Undertaker. He says, but let it be known, I will jam a soup bone down his throat and no one can do anything about it. Bad impression. Undertaker, weird promos around this time. And it's coming. So we get a SmackDown commercial. They do this a couple times because SmackDown premiered the Thursday before, so they're promoting it very heavy. So The Undertaker, along with The Big Show and Paul Bearer, to take on The Rock in a no-holds-barred Falls Count Anywhere match. Undertaker takes the microphone, says Rock hasn't earned he pauses, respect, or is entitled to have his stupid stand-up comedic routine ass tonight. So, Show, you're going to face him. Big Show goes, don't you mouth me. Says you will beat his ass and make him like it. And he paused awkwardly a few times, stumbled on his words, and it's like, oh, ooh. Now, for those who aren't aware, a little behind the scenes here, around this time, Undertaker was also not quite himself, I guess you could say. Undertaker was... I gotta fix this. Oh my goodness, no one is supposed to see any... what the heck? This hat is so weird. All right, look, let's just wear it like that. Just gonna wear it like that. Just gonna wear it like... I can't. Oh my god, you're gonna have to just deal with this hair. I need to wash it, actually, but I can't do it. I can't do it without the hat. I swear I feel like this hat was made weird. Okay. I know, I'm stopping for my hat. But yeah, Undertaker was very heavy on certain things. This around the time he took off for some time to, I guess, handle things for himself. But yeah, that was kind of what was going. Oh my goodness, I can't do this. It's fucking killing me. So The Rock comes out. He's still in street clothes. The Undertaker, he jumps on commentary, talking about the greater plan and stuff. Rock goes for Big Show with some strikes, clotheslines Big Show over the top. Big Show, though, goes for a side Russian leg sweep on the ramp, but The Rock blocks it, hits him with one, only gets a 2 count. Big Show counters a little later, clotheslining The Rock onto the apron. They get back in the ring, some shots by The Rock, but Big Show ends up hitting with a big, nasty power slam, get 2 count. Some those palms just right on the Undertaker, or right on The Rock's chest in the corner. You get an Irish whip. Rock moves out of the way, Big Show in the corner. Rock starts to punch him. Show takes control, though, again. Big Show goes to ram The Rock into the post on the outside, but The Rock does counter the move, pushing the Big Show into the post himself. Rock puts on the headset, looks at the end, and says, Rock will slap the dad out of his... tells Undertaker he's going to slap the dad out of his monkey ass. Undertaker says, boy, don't mouth me. And Rock walks away, but then Rock comes back and slaps the Undertaker right in the face. Taker then, though, does hit The Rock from behind. They beat up The Rock for a little bit, and then Big Show choke slams The Rock through the announce table to get the 3 count. Afterwards, Undertaker gets on the mic and tells The Rock to lay there and know his role. Triple H shows up out of nowhere and just starts stomping The Rock. Foley then comes out after Triple H is starting to get choked by The Undertaker. Foley comes out, he gets attacked, and they stomp the crap out of him, and that's how this segment ends. The match was okay. That was the one thing I remember the most about Raw. These matches were never long 5 stars. Like, the match quality on Raw is 1,000 times better now than it was back then. But the characters that we saw, that's what drew us in. It was the characters and the way they interacted with each other and everything. That is what hooked everyone. You know, Austin's and Rock's. And of course, Austin wasn't there. But you still had, you know, nowadays, if you don't have a John Cena, the show kind of lags. If you don't have, sadly to say, if you don't have a Roman Reigns, the show lags. But back then, you had Mankind. You had The Rock. You had Steve Austin. You had Triple H. You had, you know, the New Age Outlaws of China. You had all these characters that you could go and watch and be like, damn, like I'm always entertained. There's always someone. You cared about everybody. You can't say that about back then. Ooh, I love this vitamin water. But you didn't have that back then. It's much more so now than it even was back then. Weird segment alert. Michael Cole interviews Al Snow. Pepper was not given back to him after the hardcore title match last week. Al Snow knows that Bossman's going to be there. He says, no, you know, he just hopes Pepper's okay, and he's a desperate man. He just wants Pepper back. But there's all this, and you get really distracted. So honestly, I didn't catch most of the interview. But even Al Snow kept stopping and looking and listening. It is played out later. But just keep getting these weird sounds. And the interview ends. It was a weird segment, but it was set up later. But this was also played off. So the boss man does come out, asks Al Snow to come out. He's very calm, sounds very apologetic. Says he wants to apologize. He says, you know, you held up your end of the deal and I didn't, and that's not right. He says, I don't do this. I never apologize. He said that, he says he did have a dog once, but the puppy got ran over by a truck. He says he will give him Pepper if on Thursday on SmackDown, he will find his hotel room at his hotel and come up there. He will give Pepper. Al Snow's like, why not now? I want Pepper now. Where is he? And he said, calm down. You know, don't get a hot head. Don't be a hothead. He says, look, no tricks. You show up, I'll give you Pepper. I promise you. So he reassures him. And then he leaves. I don't remember how this goes. But that's what Bossman says. That's what he's going to do. He reassures him that he will have the dog. The Rock, you see The Rock backstage in his locker room just throwing stuff. He's still mad. They show us highlights from SmackDown, and the Road Dogg apparently had a crushed disc. We get a match, X-Pac versus Taka Michinoku with Funaki. Match is a quick match, very quick, very entertaining. Both these guys were phenomenal athletes. I really would have liked to have seen these guys actually for the light heavyweight title when it was still a thing. But you get a side headlock. X-Pac, though, does get the advantage. Some kicks in the corner, but Funaki gets in and hits a shot from behind on X-Pac. X-Pac, though, does take a shot at him. Taka tries to get the advantage, but X-Pac throws him out. An Asai moonsault to the outside by X-Pac. You didn't see him actually fly like that very often. Funaki, though, again attacks him from behind on the outside, allowing Taka to get the advantage. Taka gets him back in the ring. Scoop slam, goes up top, misses the moonsault. Taka lands on his feet after a German suplex attempt by X-Pac. Taka goes for a Hurricanrana, but that's countered into a powerbomb at X-Pac for a 2 count. Taka, though, gets popped up in the air and then face planted. A spinning heel kick hit by X-Pac. Taka, though, gets Bronco Bustered by X-Pac. Bronco Bustered. X-Pac hits a Bronco Buster. Goes for a second one, but Funaki pulls Taka out of the way. Taka then goes for the Michinoku driver, but X-Pac gets out of it. Hits him with the X Factor 1, 2, and 3. X-Pac wins. Afterwards, Funaki tries to attack him again, but then gets hit with an X Factor of his own. It was a quick match. It was maybe a 5-minute match. It was quick. It was fun. It was a fun match. Like, it was all right. And I wish, man, imagining these two on a pay-per-view in a match where they actually had like 15 minutes, no interference. Like, that'd been an amazing little match. Taka Michinoku, I believe, is still wrestling to this day. Like, that would have been entertaining. As Xbox about to leave the ring, Michael Cole interviews, says, with everything that's happened in the last week, you really looked like you had fire in it. He says, he did. He does. He says, me and Kane, he says, I win. Win's a win. So that everyone knows what I want. I want the big guys. I want everyone. And he walks away. Okay. Xbox was never a great talker, but a very entertaining wrestler. That's the thing. You look at Xbox, you look at a guy like Taka Michinoku, Xbox could bring anyone to a great match. He was the test. Like, if you could have a great match with him, you'd be good. And then imagine him with Taka, who's also a really good wrestler. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that. We see Stevie Richards, the Blue Meanie, Midian and Viscera, Albert and Draws, all backstage trying to get through this parade of fucking referees trying to get into the ring. Which leads us to the four-corner elimination match for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. Edge and Christian versus the Hardys versus the Acolytes versus the Hollies. All four teams get into the ring and just go at it right away. Like, this was not a match. This was not a match at all. This was just okay. All four teams get it right away. Viscera and Midian show up. Then Draws and Albert. Then Stevie Richards and Midian. They all get in the ring. Everyone's brawling. You see Jeff Hardy tossed into the steps. Some step shots. You see Farouk dropped in on his head on the outside. And the referees throw the match out. They fill up the ring. They keep brawling until they go to commercial break. It was a thing and it happened. This was a low point in the show for sure. Not the lowest point of the show. You see The Rock heading towards the ring. So The Rock again comes back out, still showing the effects from the attack during his match onto the announce table. He says Big Show thinks he has impressed somebody, starts making fun of him. He says Undertaker thinks he's impressed somebody, says, you two jabronis, come on down here, face The Rock in a handicap match. He says, but he doesn't want to fight. He's been doing that all night. He says he wants Show come out here, pull his little black trunks down, bend over. Says he wants the Undertaker to come out here, admire his little Mickey Mouse tattoos. He start chanting for The Rock. Just take his 33-pound head, turn that son bitch sideways to stick straight up his candy ass. The Mankind comes out. Says, I was in the back. I like the comments you had about the tattoos and the head up the candy ass. Says, but Rock, you don't have to do this alone. Says, I know you don't like me. He says, and after the Rumble this past year, I didn't like you for a long time either. He says, but I've been talking to the people, and the people want him to be The Rock's partner. The people need him as The Rock's partner. He says, tonight in Boston, Massachusetts, he wants to be The Rock's partner. He says, if Big Show and Undertaker can find the testicular fortitude, and that gets a huge pop, is to put the tag team titles on the line, he'd like to be the people's partner. That should have been a fucking shirt. He says he's like, Rock, think about it. He says, you with the millions and millions of The Rock's fans, and Mankind with the dozens and dozens of Mankind's fans standing side by side, laying the smackdown, and The Rock cuts him off. Rock gets cheered. He says, The Rock says he knows what his crazy ass will do, but don't. He says, so one time only, he'll be the people's partner. He says, but don't ever steal The Rock's catchphrase ever again. He starts to do, if you smell, and Mick Foley starts chanting. He's like, what? Literally, The Rock just told you not to. And everyone's cheering, everyone's laughing, Foley. And he finishes it off. Like, I fucking laugh. I forgot how funny that shit was. Those two, as a comedy team, but yet they were so serious it was funny, but they were supposed to be serious, but you couldn't help but laugh because Mick was so funny and The Rock just played off like, I can't stand this fucking guy. I just fucking hell. Oh my god. Excuse me. So I'm about to laugh at this too. Terry Reynolds and Meat. Meat. John Stasiak, for those who don't remember, John Stasiak, aka Meat, they come out, but The Rock sees Terry, and Terry's just staring him down, right? Because he's walking up the ramp, they're coming out. Rock stops, he's looking at her. He says, "Do you want to go one-on-one with the Great One?" She shakes her head. He's like, "Here's what you need to do. You go up to SmackDown Hotel." Tells her to go to his hotel room. He says, "Ask her, do you like this? Oh, do you like that?" He says, "Do you like bubbles?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, bubble your ass on out of here." And he walks away. Man, The Rock was fucking. That's the thing with wrestling nowadays. Like, I'm going back and watching it, and yes, the Attitude Era was not perfect, but the characters, man, the characters, and just how funny they were, and how much they made like me and others laugh. Like, it was hilarious. Oh, but she gets in the ring, and GTV. Who remembers GTV? Raise your hand in the comments. Raise your hand. It pops up. You see Meat making out with the blonde, who you think is Terry, and it happens to be behind the set. You're like, "Oh, look, it's Meat making out with Terry." But then you realize it's not. It's Mariana. Okay, for those who know, has had the beaver cleavage thing. Well, Mariana was supposed to be his mother. Yeah, no, yeah, most people don't remember that. But Mariana was his girlfriend, and they were making out. So Chaz comes out. Mariana follows. Chaz attacks him. Terry pulls her and beats her up. Referees break it up. It's a brawl. Blah, blah, blah. That was it. GTV setting up, I guess, a match for Sunday Night Heat or something. Maybe. I don't know. Another low point. Like I said, the Attitude Era, not perfect. We see Deborah and Miss Kitty doing their makeup backstage before Jeff Jarrett comes out for his match. You know, I need to get a tablet. Honestly, I need to get a tablet. So, Intercontinental Champion Jeff Jarrett and European Champion Mark Henry, sexual chocolate. It's sexual, baby. Oh my god, that gimmick. The hand. Along with Miss Kitty and Deborah come out to face Billy Gunn and D'Lo Brown. D'Lo, of course, the face. Billy Gunn is a heel, but Billy having a micro feud with Jarrett, along with China. Speaking of China, China does come out to ringside to join commentary. Talks about how she's going to make history at Unforgiven, walking as the ninth wonder of the world, and leaving as the Intercontinental Champion. Over being first in the King of the Ring, first in the Royal Rumble. I mean, China was a huge star and a groundbreaking female wrestler. I don't care. She wrestled the men. She was better than some of the men. Sometimes. So Jarrett and D'Lo start the match. You get some good back and forth. Jarrett works over the arms, stomps him, tags in Mark Henry. Mark Henry works over D'Lo Brown, uses his power, just flies just guillotine over the middle rope onto him, just slides right through. Mark Henry, when he was younger and a little less, he could move around that ring. Pretty freaking, he could move around pretty good. Mark Henry, though, goes for a leg drop. D'Lo moves, gets the hot tag. Mark Henry hot tags Jarrett. They both get in. They're fighting back and forth. Billy gets control, fights off Mark Henry, gets Jarrett in the corner. Jarrett, though, and him come back to the center of the ring. China gets to the ring with the guitar, swings for Jarrett, but Jarrett ducks, and it hits Billy Gunn, which allows Jarrett to pin Billy for the 3 count. But for the 3rd time in a row, Billy Gunn has lost the match somehow because of China. It was a quick match, and it was simply just to basically tell us that Unforgiven, we're having that match, and to just further the feud with her and Jarrett. It was okay. But this feud, God, I apologize in advance how this feud is going to go. I just hope you all are accepting and okay with it. Michael Cole interviews Cass, who says, well, give me a second. He calls up the Stooges, that being Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson, says they mean the world to Stephanie, and he says they've been cool to him since he's, joined the company. He says that's why he wants to be a part of the wedding and who will be the best man. He says they have to decide. They're both giving their reasons why they shouldn't. And he says, you know what? Both of them. He says, but the best man will carry the ring. And they're both congratulating him, thanking him, and so on and so forth. Just setting up for something further down. It was okay, though. It was enjoyable. Then we get a music video. a music video, and I didn't write down the name. It was a Chef Boyardee commercial. I've been using quotes a lot. A Chef Boyardee commercial, featuring The Rock. I did love me some Chef Boyardee, especially the mega stuff. Ooh, damn, I love those stuff. Anyways, we had a match. Ken Shamrock versus Gangrel, who came out with the Hardys when they were the new brood. So gothy. Shamrock, who was kind of wary of the Hardys, picked by Gangrel. They fight to the outside. The Hardys distract Shamrock. Gangrel takes advantage. The Hardys end up being ejected from the ring, from ringside. You get some shots. I mean, this match was not a good match. This was definitely, like, I felt like at times Shamrock just didn't care. Like, this was Shamrock had intensity. There was no intensity in this match. It was just there. You get some back and forth. You get a submission attempt by Ken Shamrock. You get an Irish whip by Gangrel, who then comes out of the ring, gets hit with the close, out of the corner, Shamrock with the clothesline. Belly to back by Shamrock for a 2 count. An eye rake by Gangrel. Shamrock, though, does make a comeback, hitting him with some knees. A snapmare in the kick. Snap suplex by Ken Shamrock for a 2 count, but even then that was slow. Like, I know he was a slower pace, but this was just something else. You get a reverse elbow by Gangrel, who gets the advantage, but then a spinning kick by Ken Shamrock. Power slam by Gangrel, but then Ken Shamrock manages to lock in a leg lock. Not even the ankle lock, just a leg lock, and Gangrel taps out. Then Howard Finkel comes out. This was actually entertaining, though. Howard Finkel comes out, asks him to direct his attention to the Titantron. And then the Jericho countdown begins. Pyro goes off. No Chris Jericho. Then Jericho pops up on the Tron. Says, "Welcome to Raw is Jericho!" And I was a big Jericho-holic. Admitted Jericho-holic. He says, he used to think he was the world's most dangerous man. But he says, after watching his match tonight, the only way he'd be dangerous is if you were operating heavy machinery. Basically saying that you'd fall asleep. He says he's too busy to come out there and show his fists of fury. He says, but maybe on SmackDown, he'll give him the chance, the distinct honor of kissing the grime off of his boots. He says before he's pounding him unmercifully in the head and upper torso. He says after that, he'll never, ever be the same again. I promise I'll never do that again. I just had to. I love the promo. Jericho was Jericho, man, he's another one. Like, even it was so many entertaining people on the stick, and they're allowed to go. That was the thing. Like, this was all Jericho's. Here's your PowerPoints. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, thank you. But the match itself, meh. I could skip the match. If they could have skipped the match and just had Jericho show up, would have saved us about 10 minutes. You could probably added more time to the main event. So you see The Rock and Mankind, they're backstage, they're kind of planning it out. Mick's like, I'll do this and I'll do that. And like, I told you out there, you're not listening. He's like, don't copy The Rock's catchphrases. Don't do The Rock's move. You just watch the Great One, do what he's got to do. And when I need you to, you do a mandible claw, but I'll let you know. And then Mick just keeps going. They show a recap from the evening gown match back on SmackDown. If you watched my review, I fucking hated it. It was stupid. Then Ivory comes out, tells Michael Cole, put those eyes back in your head. It's just because you saw me half naked doesn't mean you get to look at me, you pervert. She says, I'm too hot for you anyway. She said, 30 seconds with me, and I'd light your world on fire. She says, I'm no slut, but Tori, she's a slut. Slut, 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 slut. That's right, I said it. She's a slut. It's like, oh my God, how old is this lady? Like, what the fuck? She says, Ivory's a lady. She says, say that, Michael Cole. Ivory's a lady. And out comes Tori, who then jumps on Michael Cole on top of Ivory. Out comes Luna, who pulls her off. But then out comes Jacqueline, who starts, and then it's just a big old fight, and the refs break it up. I know I can't harp on this every week, but the women's division at that time, the Divas division, I fucking hated it. Like, as an adolescent teen, Oh yeah, I was all about the freaking TNA. And I'm not talking about fucking total nonstop action. I was all about that shit. Now that I'm older and I have more respect for women, this shit I was not about. I'm so glad things got better. And the fact that these women didn't even wrestle, they just not one women's match on this show. Literally, that was it. And that was what your women's champ was doing. Talking about sluts. Awesome work. Awesome work. The Undertaker and Big Show defending their tag team titles against The Rock and Mankind. This is your main event. Big Show runs in the ring. Taker just leaves him. Big Show gets double team. Taker just goes to his corner. You get a double team, a big old face buster by The Rock and Mankind. Some shots by Mankind, but then Big Show counters into a sidewalk slam. Big Show starts to overpower Mankind. Hits him with a big knee, a huge head slide. Fucking hell. Head butt. A big old head butt. God. Demonetize me, I guess. I don't know. Mankind gets tossed to the outside. Undertaker throws him into the steps and then hits him with more shots. Big Show power slams him, gets only a 2 count after The Rock breaks up the pin. Big bear hug. Big bear hug by the Big Show. Mankind does just fight it, but does try to fight out, bites him, starts giving some punches, but Big Show ends up getting the advantage and throws him back out of the ring, where the Undertaker starts taking more shots at Foley, even tossing him outside of the ring, outside of the barricade after a headbutt. The Rock runs him off. Mankind gets back in the ring, gets scoop slammed by him, or actually, no, it doesn't get in the ring, gets scoop slammed onto the rubble of the table from earlier by the Big Show. He gets him back in the ring. Paul Bearer shows up, and the Undertaker just walks out, looks angry, just walks away. Big Show takes some shots in the corner, but Mankind low blows him. Hot tag to The Rock. The Rock comes in, starts beating up Big Show. Double team attempt by both of them, but they both get clotheslined. Rock gets choke slammed. Then Mankind comes in with a chair, gets hit and punches Mick in the face. Big Show goes for an elbow after a 2 count, misses that. Mandible claw, but the ref takes a bump. Chair shot to the head by The Rock. They both do the double team with the people's elbow, double people's elbow, whatever you want to call it, for the victory, the 1, the 2, and the 3. And you have new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. Mankind Rock, the birth of the Rock and Sock connection. The match was actually okay. It was okay. It was a lot of Mankind breaking out and then The Rock coming in and making the save and winning the match for his team. I don't think it was meant just to set up it was meant to set up the eventual breakup of of Undertaker and Big Show. It was okay. It was an okay match. I enjoyed it for the most part. I enjoyed it. Overall, this Raw was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was as good as the previous SmackDown, but it was still pretty darn good. Now, like I said, a lot of Mankind and The Rock, not so much of Triple H. Of course, no Austin because he's out selling injury, but still, you had enough entertaining pieces. Jericho, Mankind, Rock, even Undertaker and his crazy fucking talk. But it was an entertaining show. So, I don't know. I hope you all liked it. Thank you guys for joining me on these classic reviews. It's much appreciated. Y'all have a great, fantastic day. I am Zach. And remember, join the nation. Have a good time, y'all.